Yes, sir. Sir, good afternoon. Sir, SG Charan, sir. Can you hear me? Am I audible, sir? Good afternoon, participants and dear faculty members. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. We are soon going to start the second session for today. And in this session, the eminent special speaker is Professor H.D. Charan, who is ex-Vice-Chancellor of Bikaner Technical University, and he is currently the chairperson of AICT Committee on Universal Human Values. So he will be joining us shortly, and then we are going to start this session. Hope you are finding it useful so far, Raghu. In the coming days, there are some more many good sessions lined up. So just keep on joining and keep on listening and keep paying attention. And you'll find lot many things to learn from this FTP. So on the last day on the valedictory session, that duration, I will share a feedback link with you along with attendance link. You will also get a feedback link, and in that you can share your feedback with us. Yes, sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Am I audible, sir?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you like to check sharing, sir, or is it fine? Let me make you the co-host first, and then
पार्टिसिपेंट्स आपकी यूनिवर्सिटी के हैं या पूरे और जगह से?
Participants, sir, there are nearly 250 registrations from all over India, and in every session, nearly 150 participants and faculty members all over India, they join. And I would request you if it could more be in English, like, because majority of the faculty members, they are from southern part of India. So,
Sure.
yeah, so I could translate them for them in between.
Sure. It will be a mixed something like.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. We'll be starting exactly at 1:30 because participants
So
are,
this participant can
they can interact
text-
with you.
interact between.
Yeah, they can chat with you. They can directly ask and put forward questions to you. AICT workshops are also going on, sir, on universal human values. Your voice is not audible.
AICT workshop is on every week.
Right, sir. Yes.
It's alternately in Hindi and English.
Right. We keep getting mails from AICT. So whenever any mail I get on universal human values, your face appears in my mind because you are the chairman of this committee, and
We are trying our best to bring it to mainstream, and efforts are. And
yes,
now,
sir.
of course, UGC has also agreed to orient their teachers for this purpose. And at the same time, there's two stages, one as an induction program, and ultimately they call it Diksha Aram. Induction program is called Diksha Aram.
Right, sir.
And so UGC is called induction, AICT is called induction program,
Right,
UGC called Diksha Aram. So
right,
for Diksha Aram, they wanted to train the teachers on the similar line. So they have agreed to it. And then as similar to the course we have as AICT,
right,
Universal Human Value and Professional Ethics. So
right.
they call it Mulya Pravaha.
Right. You are the pioneer, sir, to introduce this subject
I
into.
am one of the members of the team, sir. Large
Right,
number of the faculty members are needed.
right,
I am
right.
one of the members.
Yes, sir. And
But
our-
now UGC has taken on a larger scale.
right,
We had conducted a workshop for UGC officers, including Vice-Chancellor, including a chairman of UGC.
right,
And they understand that subject whole day. It was a face-to-face workshop
right,
at
right,
Delhi. And they decided to have an orientation program for vice chancellors of central universities. So we had a workshop for vice chancellors of central university, one day orientation program online, so
right.
that they could understand and they could get this approved from their academic bodies as a subject.
Fine.
And then UGC has a large number of the centers, human resource development centers.
Right,
Their basic task is to orient the teachers. They regularly conduct a workshop for their teachers for faculty development. They have been developed for this purpose.
right, right.
So then we had a workshop for director and deputy directors of all human resource centers,
Right, right.
so that they understand this one. Now they have also thinking of taking this as one of the orientation programs they are conducting throughout the year.
Wonderful, sir. That's really a big achievement.
So these three things we have initiated and conducting meeting with the AICT and UGC authorities. We have requested UGC to form a team similar to what UGC have, AICT have. Now they agreed that the same team which is working at AICT, our members from UGC will be included in that. So it will be called a joint committee of UGC AICT. So now is a National Committee on Universal Human Value is a joint committee of UGC and AICT.
Right.
On 3 members, very senior members, 2 are joint secretary of UGC and 1 is a deputy secretary. The 3 members are now member of this committee, our committee.
Great, sir. Great.
They all sincerely they have adapted it and sincerely wanted to implement this.
Right.
So this is the basic aspiration of NEP. If you see the split of NEP, they also wanted to have a good human being before that anything else. So they understand the purpose of life, how to live it.
Right. Okay, sir. Then I am formally starting this session now. So, good morning and good afternoon to all present over here. I welcome you all on the second day of Faculty Development Program. I welcome you on this post-lunch session. The eminent speaker for this session is Professor Dr. H.D. Charan, ex-Vice-Chancellor, Bikaner Technical University, and currently he is the Chairman of National Committee on Universal Human Values, AICT, New Delhi. Sir, I take this privilege to welcome you and thank you for accepting our invitation and for being a part of this 7 days faculty development program, for accepting to be the resource person for such an important topic. It is an honor to have you on this platform, sir. We welcome you, sir. Welcome, sir. Now, before I request you to take over the session, I would like to introduce Professor H.D. Charan to all the participants. Professor H.D. Charan is ex-Vice-Chancellor of Bikaner Technical University. He is currently the Chairman of National Committee on Universal Human Values, AICT, New Delhi. He is among the founder Vice-Chancellor of Bikaner Technical University. He is a member of National Coordination Committee for Students Induction Program in AICT. He is also a member of governing body of AIMS, Jodhpur. He is a member of governing body of Gautam Buddha University in Noida. He is one of the key persons responsible for establishing Rajasthan Technical University at Kota. He has been at eminent positions, like he has been the member of Board of Management of RTU Kota. He has been the chairman of Committee for Drafting Statutes, Ordinance and Regulations of RTU. He has been the Dean of Academic Affairs. He has been the Faculty of Engineering and Architect. He has been the Dean of Student Welfare, HOD of Civil Engineering, and the list is long. So, I mean, thank you, sir. Thank you for being with us and always supporting us to organize such programs. And we have always seen your enthusiasm to accept and organize such faculty development program. Thank you, sir. Thank you. And over to you, Professor H.D. Charan.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So on the outset, I'll thank the University of Engineering and Management for giving me chance to interact with the faculty members from various institutes all over India. At the same time, I'll appreciate the efforts of the university and Professor Yadav. They have rightly taken a workshop on faculty development And in that, of course, holistic development is, of course, very, very important subject he has taken. Because we talk in terms of development in parts, in pieces. When we talk of the holistic development, this really become a real topic and a real topic of life. How do we want to live that development and what development we desire? So really, I appreciate the topic they have taken. And in that topic, they have, of course, considered this human value education, which efforts we are uh, taking from AICT, UGC, and from there to each and every teacher of the country, from teacher to the student, and from a student to ultimately society, and from society from one generation to another generation. That's what we expect, so that this particularly a very, very purpose of life can be understood. Uh, the topic, of course, which I will be presenting before you, since you all are the faculty members. So it will not be a lecture from one side. Of course, I'll expect your participation so that we can understand the content of it and how this content can be useful for higher education, and not only higher education, total education as a whole. And it can be taken to ultimately to the student, and from the student to the next generation. If I uh, before I take up this topic, of course, uh, as this NEP 2020, lot of has been, has been talked about NEP. Everyone, since you all are the teacher, so you have either attended the various seminar workshop on NEP, or you have participated in terms of a faculty member or a resource person. So every one of you are knowing about it. But I'll see in two different views national education policy, because much is talk about national education policy. That too, it is being talked that this NEP will change the direction of education, and that's what is called a national education policy. So what is there in that, so that we can say it's a national policy which can change the direction of the education? I see total content in two ways. One, there is a infrastructure development, or there is a organizational changes. Say in place of large number of the bodies, governing bodies, there will be one body, Higher Education Commission of India, and there will be four verticals below it. Then there will be some changes in system of education, say lateral entry, lateral exit. When we come out with the exit, you will have some certificate or diploma. Then there will be a bank for the credits, so that student will not lose anything. If he could not continue the study, then he can have his own credits reserved in a bank and can be utilized, and so on. This all I'll put in a one basket. There's organizational changes. The second very change is the spirit of the NEP, this spirit of the education policy. In a spirit, a number of places, very important things are written, so that we develop a person in such a manner so that there will be a sense of peace, harmony, non-violence, commitment, and the commitment towards the nation, and understanding of relationship. And so many things are written, and so many places. Now, very, very first page in the introduction, it is written that the education is fundamentally for achieving full human potential. One thing, one purpose, full human potential, developing equitable and just society, and promoting national development. So in the very first line of the introduction, this three things are written. The education is fundamentally for achieving a full human potential. So we have to understand this full human potential, and the potential is to be developed in such a way that the society which is being will be the outcome of a such person, that will be equitable and just. Means if I talk in terms in Hindi, it will be समतापूर्ण और न्यायपूर्ण समाज, ऐसा समाज जहां there will be justice to all. They will be thinking of well-being of all. So if you develop a person in such a manner, he understand the reality of a whole existence, understand the truth of the existence. That is, a truth is a coexistence, relatedness, connectedness. If we understand this connectedness, relatedness, and coexistence of the various units on the earth, including human being itself, and if you have a feeling of this, with this feeling, living with this feeling, such a nation will be called a developed nation, where well-being of all will be ensured. In such a nation, there will be peace, there will be harmony, and nation itself will be well-organized nation. Not only it will be well-organized, it will help other nations to organize. So it will have a fulfilling participants with other adjoining nature or adjoining nations and or other nations. So with this very concept of a policy, very spirit of the policy, very important thought behind it, very important mission behind it, that we will have a equitable and just society which will lead to a development of nation. And in the core of it, the human being, the person should be, as full potential is to be developed. Now, to develop a full potential, we require to understand what is the development. And here is the role of education. So NEP has rightly pointed out, even otherwise, means once we understand our development as a life, we understand our life, our living, and then we see the development. And there, if we see the role of education, then we decide the direction of the education. So this is what I wanted to put up. Of course, I'll wanted your sharing your comment in between also, so that it will not be a monologue, it will become a dialogue. Now, if we see that if our own life, if we see the last 30 years, 40 years, a lot of development has been taken place. That is a infrastructure development of facilities, lot of development has been taken place. The education has also increased a lot. Today we will have a large number of the people, not from graduate, postgraduate, but also at the PhD level. So both of them has increased a lot, that has enhanced a lot. Now, if you see the purpose of education, so today I'll discuss these two things. What the role of education and what actually this human being aspire for it. मानव चाहता ही क्या, उसकी मूल चाहना क्या है और उसमें इसकी भूमिका क्या है. What the role of education? Whatever I talk with you, it will be in a form of a proposal, not that I have read it from somewhere or since I have read it, so I'll telling that this is right and this is wrong. So this will be a proposal. This will be a proposal. So you neither disagree to it nor simply agree to it, but you observe at yourself, you see at yourself with your natural acceptance and decide at yourself whether that is useful to you, that is workable to you or not. So that way, if I put up the proposal, if you start thinking of it, so once it will be a dialogue between me and you, and then of course with that proposal you should have a dialogue within yourself. So that proposal is to be judged on the basis of natural acceptance. So if I describe the natural acceptance, defined it, natural acceptance. So I'll put up an example. Say, if you wanted to live in a relationship or if you want to live in opposition, then certainly you can respond the chat also. Say, if you have an option to live in a relationship or live in opposition, then some answer comes from within. that we wanted to live in relationship. So that answer has come from within. No one has taught this, neither school nor college, no one had taught this, but from within, from ourselves, answer has come that we wanted to live in relationship. Relationship with every human being. Now, if I further expand it, say with that relationship, do it's agreeable to me to live in respect or disrespect? Then again, directly one answer comes, that is, we wanted to live in respect. So these two answers are coming from within, and these two answers are same for me, same for you, anyone, any human being on the earth, the same answer is coming. So natural acceptance is innate. This is not carved. So whatever proposal I am putting it, you kindly judge at your own right with natural acceptance. And you start thinking, so the dialogue start from yourself. If I see the role of education, I have written one line here. The role of education is to facilitate the development of competence to live with definite human conduct. Education should enable the person to live with a definite human conduct. Now you see on your natural acceptance that this much is expected from education, that person should develop a competence to live with a human conduct, human character, human behavior. What is being expected from that? Now, this is a simple minimum being expected from the education, that it will facilitate the person to develop a competence so that it can live as a person with definite conduct. Now, if you see on the earth, then if you see this human conduct and this very purpose slightly in detail, if you see the various type of fears in our nature existence, so three types of fears are visible. One is fear from natural calamities such as tsunamis and so on. Another is a fear from wild animals, and third is a fear of unhuman behavior of human beings. So if we look to the natural acceptance, and if you see that which one is more, then you can answer from yourself that with the progress of development of a science, we are now quite comfortable to take forecast the natural calamities and take care of various measures for that. And as far animals are concerned, animal has started fearing from human beings. Now human being is don't have any fear from animal, but animal has started fearing from human beings. But the conduct of unhuman behavior of human being is the major source of fear in the society. And very interesting thing is this increasing or decreasing? You can kindly write on the chat whether this fear of unhuman behavior is increasing or decreasing. You can write on a chat whether this fear of unhuman behavior of human being is increasing or decreasing. So now, say we are always advise our ladies not to go outside in night. So are they fearing from where? It's a fearing for unhuman behavior of the human beings. So whether this fear of unhuman behavior is increasing or decreasing, because now we see that it's a continuously increasing. Now a lot of fear from unhuman behavior of a human. We don't know sometimes, anytime anyone can have a fight with other person. Now, very interesting is at the same time, the literacy is also increasing. So fear is increasing, literacy is also increasing. So this is really a contrary to it. When one become a literate, he should be much more have a definite conduct as a human being. So we are literating the pupil, literacy is increasing, but the unhuman behavior is also increasing. So there is a gap. There is a gap between what education should teach to a human being and what he is. So this gap is increasing. This gap is increasing day by day, and that's the major source of the problem. Nowadays, all the major crime, bigger crime, are conducted by highly educated people. Not as an ordinary person, but a very highly educated people, they're committing the crimes. At one side, education is increasing, literacy is increasing, but unhuman behavior of the humans are also increasing. So this is really a big question among society and of course the educationist as a particular. The educationist needs to answer this question. And at the same time, Supreme Court also has committed on that our education system has merely failed to train the human beings to behave in a expected manner. And he has rightly told that the education need to think over it, the purpose for it. So this is really something we need to think over it. So all of you can start thinking, questioning yourself. The education is increasing, but the fear of unhuman behavior is also increasing. Now, if we see the further about the behavior, if you want to see the behavior of a plants, trees, they all decided by the seed. Whatever is the seed, the similar with the plant or it will be tree. Similar to if you see the animals, whatever their breed, so their behavior is decided by the breed. So if you see all the units, plants and trees, their behavior is according to the seed. If you see the animals, their behavior will be according to the breed. If you see the human beings, their behavior cannot be ensured in the behavior of the parents. Is it true? Say, for example, the parents are vegetarian. Can they very confidently tell that their child will always remain vegetarian? So therefore, the conduct of human being can be decided by Shiksha Sanskar, education Sanskar. So all the units on the earth, whether material, living or non-living, conscious or non-conscious, it's the only human being whose conduct is indefinite. The conduct of all others are definite. The conduct of human being can be made definite through education and sanskar. शिक्षा और संस्कार के माध्यम से उसके कंडक्ट को ठीक किया जा सकता है. So this is the basic purpose of the education, to facilitate the competence to live with a definite human conduct, and that conduct can be ensured with shiksha and sanskar. Not shiksha alone, but shiksha and sanskar. So this is the purpose of education. Now, if we slightly see in detail about this purpose, then this education should be such that, very first I have written that it will develop a right understanding in the child. One purpose. If I expand this human conduct, So it will develop a right understanding. Then it will develop a understanding to live in relationship with other human beings. And third, it will be able to see his need of physical facilities. It can identify the need of physical facilities and his own skill. And with these two, he should have a capacity, he should have a willing to achieve it with some potential labor or potential work, potential service or potential production. So these three are the further expanse of the what is expected from the human being. The child should have a right understanding. He should have understanding to how to live with relationship with other human beings and to decide his need of physical facilities, his skill, and a willingness to produce it by labor, by production, and by service. So certainly, I'll see a response from you. Is there need for such education sanskar? As I told rightly that it will be interactive, not monologue. But if you feel that such education is required, or whatever is going on now, today's education is a skill based. Everyone is asking us to, and not only asking, they are questioning that we are not producing a child of industry ready child. They are not, no one is asking that child is society ready or not. Everyone is questioning that child is not industry ready and not a society ready. The first requirement is child should be society ready. Then it should be industry ready. One example, I'll produce before you that last year I heard a news from a newspaper that one of the IS officer in Delhi, he committed suicide. And when a suicide note was read, it was written that he was unable to resolve the dispute between his wife and his mother. Therefore, he is committing suicide. Now you see what type of a human being we are producing. So we are not producing human being who is a society ready, but we are always focused to have a person who will be industry ready, so that he can produce a livelihood, he can earn enough, but whether he is able to live in a society within his family itself with a harmony, or harmony in a total existence, no one is questioning it. Then question comes, next question is who is responsible for it? Of course, we all feel that education sanskar is required. First, one should become a society ready, family ready. Then, of course, it should be capable of earning also. That's one part, a very important part, not only part, but a very important part. But that is not the only part. Then who is responsible for this education sanskar? Then, of course, to start with parents, teachers, and society as a whole. Now, everyone has got role. The very beginning, very first, parents has got the role. And nowadays, not after coming to the existence, the before existence in the mother womb, the teaching can be imparted. That's of course research says nowadays. Earlier also our all history says. So parents, it's a very important first teacher. Always we call the parents are the first teacher for child, then teachers, and then society as a whole. But if we talk in our responsibilities, whether parents has fulfill their responsibility to the desired level or not, but our responsibility as a teacher, we should see that our is a bigger responsibility. Bigger in the sense, of course, it should start from the childhood, but say it has not been done at childhood, the person who has come to the higher education, now he will be a next parent. He will be a next policy maker. He will be a teacher. So this adult person who has come to, he will be responsible for the all next generation. As a parent also, as a policy maker also, as a teacher also, so as a responsible member of the society also. So he is a responsible. So we thought that it should start from higher education, so that there will be a good parent, there will be a good policy maker, there will be a good human being in the society, there will be good teachers, and so on. So all the three have got the responsibility, but we educationist teacher has the bigger responsibility, and therefore we have started from higher education. Of course, I wanted to share with you now that school education has also taken it up, and we are also coordinating with them and preparing syllabus for the school education 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, and one of the important schools at MP. And at the same time, other level also has been taken in the society. So our responsibility, of course, as a higher education is very important, because from here, good parent, good teacher, good policy maker, and good human being in the society can be produced. Now this is what we explore, that certainly we want to have a person with good education sanskar, and it's our responsibility. Now we will explore how it can be done, how this human conduct can be ensured. Of course, as you know, as I mentioned, that nowadays the whole education is skill biased. Skill is of course required, but before that, this should be value that is important. We of course teaching how to do, but we are not teaching what to do. That value is we are not teaching. We are supposed to teach first what to do, then it's how to do. So it should be a skill, but it should be value guided skill. The skill should be value guided. You can now, of course, very well comment this both are required or not, or one is enough to live. If you are knowing a skill, that is enough. Value and skill both are required, or one will fulfill the purpose of life. Now, a skilled person can be more dangerous as compared to less skilled person. As I just given the example, that nowadays all big crimes that are being done by a skilled person. They all explosion, bombs, hijacking of the planes. This all are done by highly educated people, and they are using the skill to the extreme, and therefore the skilled person become more dangerous if he is not taught with the values. I always give an example that, say, we as a teacher, says a teacher of the electrical engineering, he teaches the formula of generation of electricity. Now with this formula of electricity generation, bomb can be also bomb. The bomb is also one of the form from where this formula can be manufactured. So whether he will form a bomb or he will generate electricity for the purpose of the well-being of the society. So this will be guided by the values. So technology don't have any value. Technology is inert. So inert technology may be used by value guided, or if not value guided, it can be have a loss of large in terms of material, in terms of human beings, in terms of every valuables. So therefore, both are required. Then of course, if both are required, you can respond to yourself whether it should be which is first, value is first or skill is first. Therefore, I see that value is first, then skill comes second. Whatever skill we have, that should be value guided. How to use that skill? So that is important. Now with this, you can see our present state of education, as I mentioned, that state of education is a skill bias and it should be value-based skill. So therefore, we require to take necessary action. As I mentioned, this NEP has mentioned this. This is the very first I have first page of NEP reproduced here. I mentioned in the beginning. So whatever I had been talking, the same NEP has taken that the very fundamental purpose of education is to achieve full human potential, development and equitable and just society, and promoting national development. So these three aspirations. So I am started from one, full human potential, and this full human potential education is required, and that is to develop a conduct, definite human conduct. Let me see further how this definite conduct can be seen in terms of holistic development. Now, when we talk of this value education, then what is to be taught? So whatever is to be taught, it should have at least these four properties. One, it should be universal. It should not be based on any sect, creed, nationality, race, gender. It should be universal, applicable to all. It's not time dependent, it's not place dependent, it's not person dependent. It's applicable to me, it's applicable to you, it's applicable to Indian, it's applicable to European, everyone. Say, for example, as I mentioned, if we ask a question to ourselves, whether we wanted to live in relationship or in opposition, the answer is one. If we wanted to live in respect or disrespect, answer is one. If you want to live in affection or otherwise, answer is one. If you want to live with trust or mistrust, answer is one. So whatever is being taught, that should be universal. Then it should be rational. It should not be given with certain beliefs. So one can reasonably question it and then verify on our natural acceptance, and it should be rational. So it should be universal, that at the same time it should be rational. It doesn't mean that someone has told us in some book it is written, some belief is written, some religion is written, therefore it is true. So it should be rational. Then very important is once we realize that of course it's universal, it's rational, then we apply it on ourselves and verify from our own experience. So at the same time, it should be verifiable. If it's not verifiable, then it's not adaptable. And after verifying, we feel that after verifying it and adapting in our life, if our life becomes much more peaceful, harmonious with oneself and the other, become harmonious. So with all these four properties, it should be universal, it should be rational, it should be verifiable. And then after verifying on our life, if we adapt it, it lead to a harmony in life. So with these all four properties, whatever we taught to the person or the student, how he should live a life, that these all four parameters are the guiding factor for it. Now to have a this fulfilled life, let me see what really we wanted in life. So if what we wanted in life, if this is being correlated with what the holistic development and what the human conduct, then it will be compatible to each other. So what we really wanted in life, and we examine ourselves. If I ask you a question that do you want to be happy? Do you want to be prosperous? You can write in chat, but everyone knows that you promptly one will say yes, you want to be happy and prosperous. And the third question is, do we want the continuity of happiness approximately? We want to be happy, we want to be prosperous, we want the continuity of both. We want a happiness for each and every moment, not in the morning or evening or sometimes happy, sometimes unhappy. We want every time. You can ask yourself, there's a basic desire of all of us to be happy and prosperous and to have the continuity of both. Say we have spent our almost more than 20 years in education, then we become a teacher. So to become a teacher or an engineer, or a manager, it took almost 18 to 20 years in education to become something. And once we become something, then we are doing something. As a teacher, we are teaching students, writing books, writing papers. As an engineer, we are doing some engineering work. Civil engineering, doing civil engineering construction, mechanical engineer is doing work in a factory. So once we become something, then we do something. Not only engineer, anyone, say farmer, is producing some farm products and doing work for it. If a doctor is doing work for the patient. So first we become it, then we do something. So becoming, then doing, then we get something. So what we get? We get a remuneration. At the same time, of course, we get the fame, we get the respect, honor. So we get the remuneration. And from this remuneration or the respect, ultimately we become happy. So ultimate goal is
Dear participants, please have patience. I think Dr. Charan has lost connectivity. He will be joining us soon. Hello. Am I audible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, please have patience. I think we have lost his connection. He will be joining soon. There was a power cut at speaker's end. He is joining back. Just wait for another 2-3 minutes. There was a power cut at his side. He's joining back in 5 minutes.
Yes, sir. Okay, we'll wait. Thank you, sir.
Hello,
Please hold
sir.
on. Sorry.
Sir, maybe he is not knowing that his connectivity is lost because as teachers,
No,
we
no,
also face this
I had
issue.
a talk with him. I had a word with him.
Actually,
Okay, sir.
there was a electricity failure, so
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
just reconnecting it.
Yeah, he's there. He's there.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm reconnecting it. Just I'm uploading the presentation.
Sure, sir.
Yes, is it visible now?
Yes, sir. Absolutely fine, sir.
So sorry for this. Of course, this is only because of this state of
Fine.
electricity.
That's fine, sir. That's fine. Absolutely fine, sir. You can continue with your.
That is beyond the control of human being.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, so I've been talking that our basic desire to be happy, to be prosperous, and to have a continuity of both. So this continuity of happiness, everyone's required. And ultimately, as I mentioned, that ultimately whatever we are doing, we ultimately wanted to be happy and want this to remain in continuity. Now, this is what we want. So there are two things. This one thing, what we want, and that's what we desire, and what is the state of being. Just a minute. Sorry, friends. One very important, the technology, and secondly, I am not very much expert in technology. So I am to take help from children, how to upload the presentation and how to continue it. So anyway, I have been talking that our desire is to be happy always. But what are our efforts for continuing this happiness and prosperity? You question yourself. You can question yourself. What are your efforts for maintaining this continuity of happiness and prosperity? Are we just accumulating physical facility or doing something else? On a large, if we inspect ourselves and do our own activities of the day, generally we are doing work for accumulating facilities. So one thing. And secondly, we are accumulating with the very concept and very belief that if we have a facility, physical facility, other things will be automatically taken care of. So currently we are living with this concept. Once I have been talking to a student of the final year, and I asked them, what do you want? They asked, we want a good job. Then second question I asked, what do you mean by good job? Then he told that good job means good salary, good package. Another student, he was telling it should be good package, and if possible, there should not be any work. So this type of person if we are producing now, they are concentrating only on the good facilities, good salary, and not willing to do work. So this is what, and we ourselves all the time are concentrating on physical facility rather than all other things. Now, if we closely look the various state of things in our life, we can check it ourselves, ask ourselves, is the happiness or displeasure in our families are more due to lack of physical facility or more due to lack of fulfillment relationship? We can very well see that, of course, facilities has increased in last so many years. And it's increasing day by day. But every time we find that there is a displeasure within ourselves in our thinking. Then there is a displeasure within families. We had always dispute within families, dispute between brother, sister, dispute between husband, wife, dispute between father and children, dispute at our workplace. So always there is a displeasure because of lack in fulfillment relationship. And if you see the time, much more time is being spent on generating physical facilities. And or sometimes we are not, of course, spending any time on fulfillment of relationship. We have ensured that if physical facilities are enough, this will be automatically taken care of. So with this, this is the very important conclusion we on our examination within. We can find that this is a basic fundamental difference between human being and animals. Animal is unhappy when he is hungry. We also become very unhappy when we are hungry. Once animal get full amount to eat, grass to eat, it will become happier. But if we have a stomach full, we get full food, we will not rest ourselves there. We will start thinking a lot more. And say today just you have had your good lunch. So you are not thinking that it's good lunch, it's having good lunch is a very one of the important tasks of life and we have taken it. We forget it. If we don't have, we will become unhappy. So this is a fundamental difference between human being and animal, that physical facility is required for both, but for animal is a necessary as well as it's adequate. He will be fulfilling with this. Animal will be fulfilling with physical facilities. But for a human being, of course, it's necessary, but it's not adequate. So it's require something more. That something more is he want to have a relationship with other. He want to live in relationship with other. You can see within yourself, this is a very fundamental difference. We will get never satisfied with the physical facilities. Say, for example, every day we are getting food. If we are not getting food, we become very angry with our wife or a spouse. But if we are getting every day, we are not taking care of it. If we don't have the physical facilities, we will be unhappy. But that physical facility simply is not adequate for the human being, but it is adequate for the animals. So this is a basic fundamental difference between animals and human being. So that's how the human being requires something more. That something more is the relationship. It requires physical facilities. At the same time, it's want to have a relationship with other human being. Both are required. For human being, both are required. But for animal, only physical facility will be sufficient. Of course, it has slightly consciousness, and there it wanted to live. And live for fulfilling its hunger, is for shelter. Whenever there is rain, the animal run to a shelter. So this is a fundamental difference. This human being also require facility as well as relationship. Now, at the same time, something more is also required. That is, he wanted to understand the relationship. He wanted to have a knowledge. So third thing is required. He want to have a understanding. Only two things, that feeling in relationship, this is required. At the same time, he want to have a right understanding and the knowledge. So this is another the character which a human being has, that apart from the facility, he want to have a feeling of relationship with other human beings. And third, he want to have a right understanding in the self and the knowledge. And he wanted to ensure all the three. So most of the time, we are living within ourselves. We are living with our thinking, our thoughts, our imaginations. Then we live with our family and at the workplace. So we wanted to have a feeling of relationship with the human being. At the same time, the understanding of self. So these three things are required. And for these three things, as you know, so every day we wanted to have a right understanding, and due to lack of right understanding, if you don't have proper right understanding, you will always have a fight in our family. At the same time, after fighting, we resolve that next time we will not fight, but the next day again we have the fight. So on examination, we find that on every day when there is a fight, we want to resolve it. We start a new day with the thought that we don't want to fight today, but due to lack of right understanding about the fulfillment of the relationship, a fight takes place again. So human wanted to have a right understanding. Though he desired not to fight with his colleague, within his family, not anyone, but because of the lack of feeling of relationship, lack of understanding, right understanding of about the relationship, again there is a fight. So therefore, for a human being, for fulfillment relationship, it is necessary to have a right understanding about a relationship. That is, right understanding is also necessary for human beings. So all the three things are important for human beings. So physical facilities, relationship with the human beings, and a right understanding within himself. These three things are required. Now you can, of course, reflect upon yourself whether these three are important or anything out of these three can be dropped. or at the same time, so you can think of whether we are working for all the three or working for anyone. And at the same time, now you can think of, it's a proposal, you can think of what should be the priority of this. Priority of working, higher priority of one to the another. So all the three are required, or something written that says relationship is not required. We are work for physical facility only, or there should be priority right from which comes first, which comes second, and so on. So you can reflect on yourself. Of course, some time is wasted. Therefore, I will not ask much about this. Now, if you see the priority, to fix up the priority, so this may be the one priority, that right understanding comes first, then comes relationship, and then maybe the physical facilities. Now, if we have a right understanding how to live with the relationship with other human beings, then we will have a fulfillment of the relationship. We will have a harmonious life with other human beings, whether in the family, in our neighborhood, in our workplace, and wherever we come in contact with the human being, we will have the right understanding how to live with the human being. At the same time, we will have the right understanding of the physical facilities. How much physical facilities is required, what skill is required to acquire that, and how to obtain that. So this may be the one priority. Now, if we live with this priority, since we have a right understanding within ourselves, how to live in relationship with others, so our living will be harmonious. The person who comes in contact with us, he will be also having the harmonious living. And since harmony is nothing but happiness, harmony within himself or harmony in the family is the happiness. Harmony is the happiness. Or to live in the contradiction with the harmony is nothing but unhappiness. Therefore, our life, if is living in the harmonious life, our life will be in happiness. The person who comes in contact with us, he will be also happy. So there will be mutual happiness. So if you require to have happiness within ourselves, then we should, of course, have a right understanding, so that how it can be extended with the other human beings. So there will be a mutual happiness. And with this right understanding, of course, we will decide how much physical facility is required and how to obtain that physical facility based on that right understanding. So we will take up only that much physical facility which is required. So we will be prosperous. At the same time, nature will also be prosperous. So very important in the sense that nowadays everyone is talking of nurturing the nature, protection of the nature. But at the same time, we are exploiting it. No one wanted to exploit it, but the fact is we are exploiting it. Only because of the fact we wanted to have more and more things in our at our house. We wanted to have more things in our house, so there is the exploitation of the nature. If we have a right understanding, so how much physical facility is required, what skill is required, how that is to be obtained, so that we will be having proper facility. At the same time, nature, rest of the nature should also be fulfilled. In such a way, we will be prosper and nature will be also prosper. So there will be mutual prosperity. And if is such a living, there may be another contrast example opposite to it. If you are living with the priority that physical facility is only priority, there is no need to have any right understanding within ourselves. There is nothing required about the relationship with the human being. If you are living with such a thought, such a understanding, then neither we will be happy, nor anyone who comes in contact with us, our family, our workplace, they will be happy. So neither we will be happy, nor making other people happy. At the same time, since we are thinking that we are always having less, So we will have a always feeling of deprivation, or we will be exploiting the nature. Neither we will be happy nor the environment will be prosperous. So in the current scenario, we'll find the two type of persons. One is those who are lacking physical facility, therefore they are unhappy and deprived. Is another type of persons, they are having physical facility, but they are unhappy because they don't have the feeling of having that, therefore they are unhappy. So either person is unhappy of not being having the facility, or they are happy because they don't have the feeling of having that. So in both the cases, either category 1 or category 2, they are unhappy. But actually we want that we should have the physical facility and we will be happy and prosperous. Actually we wanted to be in third category, but today either we are living in the category 1 or category 2, or at the most we are going towards from category 1 to category 2, where we have the on facilities but not feeling of the having facilities. You can reflect upon yourself, you can see. So we wanted to be where we wanted to be and where we are. So in such a way, the current scenario, we are living with the priority that we should have the maximum facility, and with facility, of course, we are deprived ourselves and deprived the whole nature and deprived other people. If you see the total production in our country or all over the world, is more than what is required for the one person. Still, there is a large number of people who are deprived of this. That's only because of the one is acquiring much more than what is required. So this is what, if you're living in this sort of a life where there should be a right understanding in oneself, there should be a relationship, feeling of relationship with other human beings, and there should be a right understanding of about physical facilities. But living in this sort of priority, then this is what we call the human consciousness. And in other words, if you are living in this sort of or life where physical facility is the only priority, neither understanding is required, not a feeling of relationship is required, then we are living in the animal consciousness. I'm calling it animal consciousness is an extreme word. So animal living in animal consciousness is okay, but human being living in animal consciousness is not okay. Therefore, animal is consciousness nothing that is only for the physical facility, because it's necessary and adequate for that for animal, but for human being it's not adequate. Of course necessary but not adequate. But necessary is all the three things, that is right understanding in oneself, a feeling of relationship with the human beings, and having the right understanding about the physical facility and how it is to be obtained, so that nature should also be nurtured or should be protected. This is what we call the human consciousness. And our whole journey is from animal consciousness to human consciousness. And here is the role of education. From this animal consciousness, that our whole life today is modern society is focused on physical facilities, all the physical facility, and therefore from this modern concept of life focused on physical facility, to have a focus on all the things, right understanding first, then less feeling of relationship, and then of course the less physical facility. So such type of transformation and such type of development is called holistic. The development of from animal consciousness to the human consciousness, where this all the three things which can be understood by the human being as a student. So that is this development is what we call the human development. And this is what required. If you see the current education system, that is there any education about right understanding? no one is talking about understanding. We are, of course, talking about the skill. We are talking about how to learn the skill, but we are not talking about understanding. Nowhere it is talking about feeling in relationship. So this first, as I mentioned in the beginning, that the very purpose of education is to have a right understanding of the child, that is missing. Second, as I mentioned, that there should be an understanding of relationship of human being, so that is also missing. And third, as I mentioned about the physical facility, so in physical facility also, the partly fulfilled, partly not fulfilled. Partly fulfilled is to know about, to assess his amount of physical facility required, that is also missing. The person is not able to, the student is not able to assess how much physical facility is required. At the same time, he is not thinking about himself, what skill he is have and what more skill is required. He is also focusing on other, either friend or other thing, how he is having the same he is wanted to get. And other person also thinking the third person, third is thinking the fourth person. And at that way, our remote is in the hands of the someone else. Therefore, of course, he is concentrating on the physical facility. Still, he don't have the proper assessment of the physical facility. At the same time, he don't have the willingness to produce them by skill or by labor, by some service. He wanted to get by hook and crook, by any means. So this is the state of education, and what we require we require a development that where we reach to this. All the three are to be properly taken care with the priority. That priority is the first, right understanding, that feeling the relationship with human beings. Then, of course, the understanding of the physical facility with the concept that it should be mutually fulfilling with the rest of the nature. Now you can think of that whether all these three are desirable. This transformation is desirable. This transformation is called development, not only development, but the holistic development. Samagra Vikas, the total Vikas, what we call that, if this is ensured, this is what the purpose of education is. And this is what the National Education Policy in the very first, in the introduction, that is achieving a full human potential. If you have a person like this full human potential, it will produce a society that will be equitable and just society, where justice to all will be ensured, well-being all will be ensured. Now you can think whether this are required or not, or if required, then our responsibility is very large. So here I, of course, want to have a sharing from you. Before that, I'll tell two things. What do you mean by this right understanding? As I mentioned, that our basic desire of human being to be happy, not once, not for the moment, but at every moment. He wanted to have a continuous happiness and continuity. And as I mentioned, that happiness is what? It's a harmony, is to be in the harmony is happiness. To be in the contradiction is unhappiness. So to be in the harmony at what stage? Therefore, if you see our expansion of life, our domain of life, we live within ourselves for most of the times, with our feelings, thoughts, imaginations. So one is human being itself, himself, herself. Then its extension is the family. So living in the family. Then extension of family is a group of families, that's the society. And then total existence as a whole. So at all the four stages, the one is living every time. These all four stages, one person is living. So his total expansion is this four stages: himself, family, society, and nature. So right understanding means he is required to understand the harmony at all these four levels. Harmony within himself, harmony in the family, harmony in the society, and harmony in the nature. To understand the harmony is the education. This is the real education. The full human potential means to understand this harmony at four stages, so that he become happy. This is the very aspiration of the basic aspiration of the person. So this is the education. First education, very beginning, very basis of that is to understand the harmony at four levels: at himself, family, society, and existence. And once he or she understand this at four level, then he is required to live in harmony at 4 levels. Live in harmony at himself, at individual level, at family level, at the level of society, and level of the nature. So this is what we call sanskar. So first to understand the harmony, that's the education, then live in harmony at 4 levels. This is called sanskar. So understanding it and living it, and that both is a shiksha sanskar, and that's how this total development, holistic development can be achieved. And this is the purpose of our life, purpose of our living, and this is what NEP is also trying to have it. So here I'm, of course, closing this because time is not permitting, otherwise something more is available. So now, of course, I wanted to have a reflection from you. I sincerely want to have a reflection from you. Whatever we have discussed, of course, I could, because of lack of time, could not produce more examples on this. Sometime we'll get the time. AICT is doing a lot of work on this. Now AICT, UGC combined, they are doing a lot of work on it. Every week there is a workshop, alternately Hindi and English. So you can be a part of that. It's not only required in education, but required for our own life. So it's very important, very useful for each and everyone as a human being to live in family, live in the society. So with this, I complete my my proposal. Of course, I expect a few of participants to reflect on it.
I request the participants to share their reflections on this session, and especially what all we have understood from Dr.
For anything,
Charan.
any query or any something, any information, if they desire, I can.
Also, we could take few questions. If you have a few questions, we can put up to Dr. Charan, sir.
As an information, I like to tell that AICT has taken this on the larger scale, and now there is a 5 days workshop on this. All these 4 topics, as I mentioned, that our span of life is self, family, society, and nature. To understand this all 4 in detail, so there is a workshop, 5 days workshop, and till today more than 77,000 technical teachers has been trained for it, and large number of the person they are voluntarily working for it. And now UGC has also taken it up. They are also planning to train their teachers. I will not call train, but they'll also expose their teachers. So this is not training. Training can be related to the animals only. So but they'll orient their teachers towards this holistic mindset. So any one of you wanted to join this, then it can be link can be provided to you, and you can avail this whatever being efforts being done by UGC and AICT.
Yes, please. Is there any question, or do you have any reflection to share with sir? Please go ahead. You can unmute yourself and you can share it with sir.
And if anyone else is meantime thinking of sharing, you can share. Yadavji can share for that.
Yes, sir. I have actually gone through your session completely. I was lost in your session. Like I have really understood the concept of holistic development. Like the three things which you have explained basically regarding right understanding and how to live in relation with other human beings and need of physical facilities, which includes with the rest of nature. So I think these three aspects are very vital for living in harmony and to be at peace and to be happy, all to feel happy and to be grateful about what all God has given us. So that way, your session has really helped me to get deep understanding of the minute concepts related with this holistic development. So I'm really thankful to you, sir, for making it more clear now. I mean, things are very clear now in my mind.
Thank you very much. So I expect all the teachers who are present here that they should take it to their colleges, their institute, and of course bring them to the authorities so that it become a part of syllabus scheme, a basic course of human value, so that at least student can be exposed to it. And now, of course, there is a minor degree in the human values. We have prepared a course on minor degree in human values. The ICT has approved it, and now we are preparing this document so that it can be taught through SWAYAM portal from MOOC. So if students are exposed to this, they will avail this all these facilities. At the same time, we have developed some elective of the higher courses, how to understand the human being as a whole, how to understand the various philosophies of living, what is our human psychology, human sociology, human economics. Today's economics is to exploit one another. So it should not be exploiting one another. It should be fulfilling to each other. It should be fulfilling to employer employees both. So we have developed these courses also. So I request all the faculty members so that they at least they bring this fact to the their organizations if they are not knowing already, and it will be very much useful to the teacher itself whether they are teaching it or not teaching it. So living in a family, living in the society, living in a workplace, everyone has to have a understanding, right understanding how to live in. So that's very important. So this is useful to all of you. So with this note, of course, from my side, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. You have very aptly explained us the need of education in holistic development of a human being, and it was very enlightening and encouraging and inspiring lecture, and definitely it will go a long way in changing our lives and changing our thinking. So we are extremely thankful to you, sir, for accepting our invitation and for sharing your valuable thoughts with us. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you for being with us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Dear participants, I'm thankful to all of you for joining this session. We are now calling off for the day. Tomorrow we are again lined up with two sessions. First session is in the morning at 10:30, which will be given by Dr. Rajesh Nair. He will be talking about outcome-based curriculum design and education. And post-lunch session, we have Ms. Arvinder Kaur. She will be talking about soft skills for 21st century. So thank you, everyone. We are all done for today. Thank you all for joining. See you again tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Thank you. Thank you, and have a nice day. You can leave the session now. Thank you.